Hi, my name is Sydney Brandeis, and today I'm interviewing Mehmet Sevinc, who is an assistant lecturer at the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley, an executive coach and the director of business development at Berkeley Executive Coaching, and he's based out of Istanbul. Welcome.
Hi, Sydney. Good to see you again.
Nice to have you on our show. So today we're talking about executive coaching, and we have a couple of questions for you about what it is. So to start, what is coaching and how did you become a coach?
Maybe I'll start with how I became, and then I'll talk about what it means to be a coach. My background is in finance, IT, data analytics, business intelligence. So I'm coming from a very technical background. About 8 years ago, in September 2013, I heard that my department at UC Berkeley in the finance office, we were going to go through a 2-day leadership workshop. And I heard about this professor at UC Berkeley in the Haas School of Business, Dr. Mark Rittenberg. And I heard about the workshop, didn't really like the content of it. I was pretty busy, so I'm like, who has 2 days for a workshop? I just leave me alone. I am super busy. This was a workshop for about 50 of us from various departments. We had people from communications, IT, technical teams, functional teams, accounting, all kinds of people showed up for 2 days. And I just couldn't believe what happened at the end of that 2-day workshop. The workshop ended on I think it was a Friday, 5 p.m. Usually in my office, you don't find people on a Friday at 5 p.m. But this workshop, people didn't leave for about an hour after the workshop, and they still connected. So I thought there was something special that Mark developed over the years, which I think we're going to talk about more about the power of human connection. Yeah. So after that workshop, I said, Mark, you have something interesting, something special, unique. And he said, yeah, you were also really good in this workshop. So why don't you come to my MBA classes that I teach at UC Berkeley? You can be my guest. And I said, man, when are you teaching? So for about 2 years, I started following Mark and found out that in addition to teaching a core class at the evening weekend MBA and also executive MBA program, this core class called Leadership Communications, he also teaches an elective called Leader as Coach. And through his organization, Berkeley Executive Coaching Institute, they certify people. They certify people to become executive coaches. It's a UC Berkeley certification program. So the more I got to know Mark, his work, I wanted to go deeper into the skills. And the best way for me to go deeper into the skills was to go through the 10-day executive coaching certificate program, which I completed in 2015. I had no idea what coaching was. I had no desire of becoming an executive coach, but you know, sometimes life brings you these funny moments and you make a decision. And in that moment, I decided to move forward with this 10-day program, which is pretty life-changing. So I became an executive coach in 2015. So I think this example is going to tell you what coaching is about. My first client, after I finished the program, so we had to coach, I believe, 5 or 6 years ago when I did the program, we had 20 hours of requirement to coach, and mostly pro bono. Right now, it's 50 hours, so I was lucky that I only needed to complete 20 hours. My first client was my brother, who is a urologist. He's a medical doctor. His specialty is urology. I mean, you know, other than, I don't know how to describe this, other than like basic things, what do I know about urology? Nothing. And I was still able to coach my brother, who was trying to, in Turkey, we have different levels of doctors, and he was like in the entry level and he wanted to get an advanced level. So he had to publish papers, he had to do research, he had to teach at a university, he had to, I don't know what else he had to do, I don't remember. But that's who I coached. I don't know anything about his specialty. I don't know anything about urology. I don't know anything about research. I don't know anything about publishing papers. And I still was able to coach him because as a coach, all I had to do was show up, bring some energy to the sessions, watch his body language, watch his emotions. Sometimes we in the coaching world, we say naming it. So name what you're saying and ask him questions. Ask him what the topic is. What is he working on? Ask him, what do you want to accomplish in our session today? Ask him about his reality. I'm talking about the T-Grow model. If the listeners know about coaching, a lot of people know the T-Grow or the Grow model. So the topic, what are you want to talk about? What's your goal for this session? What is reality? What is going on? What do you want to fix? Okay, let's talk about some options. What is the priority? Which option you like to work on? And let's wrap up the session. What is next? What are you going to do? Oh, you're going to meet that person next week? Okay, well, how about I check in with you next week to make sure? So, if you follow this example, there's nothing about urology that I actually don't need to know. That's really what coaching is. And I'm not sure if it was helpful to explain it to you, but that's usually the example I use. Coaching someone who I have no idea what they do, and I don't need to, basically helping them to come up with their own solutions. Because I don't know anything about urology, I can't give them advice. And that's really not what happens in coaching sessions. I ask him questions and he comes up with his own solutions.
Well, that's wonderful. That's a great overview of what coaching is and an awesome example helping your brother. I would have never thought that, you could coach people in your family, but that's awesome. So in our prior,
I have a quick comment about that.
yeah,
I wouldn't I wouldn't recommend coaching your family members. I mean, it
okay.
was fine with me and my brother, but if I compare it to my other clients, it's just a different dynamic. It's fine, but yeah, if I have to coach, if I have a preference, I would definitely coach no friends, no family members.
Okay, that's good to know. So in our prior conversation, you told me that there are a lot of companies out there that are trying to establish a coaching culture. Why is that?
Yeah, a lot of companies are struggling with finding the next generation leaders. I mean, we have this client in Thailand who's one of the top retail companies. I think employs over 60,000 people. I believe they are the second biggest employer after the Thai army. So they're huge. And their biggest challenge is lack of leadership. They have their leaders retiring in the next 2 or 3 years. Who are gonna succeed these people? Who are gonna be the successors? And if you are in a company that you tell people what to do all the time, it's really hard for people to take initiative and work on their leadership skills. So think of this for a moment. Think of these high-level executives, these executives that are going to retire in 2 to 3 years. And by the way, it's not really easy because this is a culture that's known to be pretty top-down, meaning they tell people what to do. And it was a big struggle for us and if you imagine, you don't get to the top of the company in 5 years. So they've been around 30 years. Some of them have been 40 years. I mean, some of them, this is their first and only job. So, and imagine throughout this whole career, they tell people what to do. And the result is there's no next generation leaders. So they decided to establish a coaching culture because they didn't want to tell people what to do anymore. They want to create a space for people to come up with their own solution, take initiative. At UC Berkeley, one of the professors we work with, her name is Homa Barami, and she does a lot of organizational change work. And she talked about how people love their babies the most. We all love babies. Babies are so cute, but imagine you have your own baby, you love them the most. People love their solutions the most. Your manager is going to tell you what to do. Okay, you're going to do it. But what if instead of that, you come up with your own solution? You're going to own it more. You're going to take the initiative, grow in your leadership. That's why we have 3, 4 other companies that are trying to establish coaching cultures in their organizations. And if you also think about it, people want to be seen. They want to be seen in their work. People want to be heard. So when they come up with an idea, they want to be heard and they want to make a contribution. And imagine you telling them what to do all the time. None of these three items are going to happen. They're not going to be seen. They're not going to be heard. Yes, they will make a contribution, but it's because you told them to do. I mean, it just doesn't work. And most of the time, I stop giving advice to people unless they really ask for it. It just doesn't work. That's why coaching works much better in many situations. I'm not saying it's the only way, but in many situations, I would say coaching is the right approach.
I definitely think that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's great that people want to encourage others rather than impose ideas on them. I'm looking forward to that shift in the workplace. So you told me that your programs offer a very unique approaches in terms of the type of elements that they include. So like acting and voice work and drama and martial arts. So why do you include those in your leadership and your coaching work?
Yeah, we bring a lot of work from cross-cultural anthropology from Dr. Angeles Arian, who unfortunately passed away. I never got a chance to work with Dr. Arian, but our founder, Dr. Mark Ritzenberg, worked with her. Some of my colleagues worked with her. And she worked with a lot of indigenous tribes. And once she got pretty sick, and she went to the healer of the tribe. And the healer asked her, when did you decide to stop singing? When in your life did you stop dancing? When in your life did you stop telling stories? And when in your life did you become uncomfortable with the sweet territory of silence? I mean, if you think about these words, these questions, when in your life did you stop dancing? When in your life did you stop living? I mean, if you look at humanity, dancing, singing, storytelling, listening, and getting comfortable with silence. I mean, I've never done a silent retreat, but that's something that's on top of my list because we are in such a rush these days. Same person, Dr. Angeles Arian, talked about two speeds in nature. If you look at the animals, she said, look at the animals. What do? I mean, look at the animals. Like my cats sleep 18 hours a day. I mean, they don't do much. And they only move kind of like slow to medium when they're hungry. And only fast, like my cat Marcus, when he pisses me off, meow nonstop at the middle of the night, I spray a little bit water on him. That's the only time he's in a rush, fast running away from me. Look at humans. We are constantly rushing. So big teachings from Dr. Angeles Arian. So if you think about that, when did you stop telling stories, stop dancing, stop singing? So these are basic human skills, humanity, that if you look at kids, that's what they do all day long. And that brings a lot of creativity. And if you look at workplaces, I don't know who came up with the rule that you got to be serious all the time at work. I mean, I don't know who came up with that rule. So we bring these kind of elements to really that relief that people feel when they come and do these workshops. They feel very uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. I was very uncomfortable going through this 8 years ago. Mark, our founder, asked me to stand up on a chair and tell a story in front of a whole group. I was so embarrassed. I can't tell you. And right now, if he asked me to start dancing on a table, I would gladly do it. It's just, it's in our nature. This is a human skill. So that's why we bring into our corporate workshops that shocks people. But at the end, they just realize, wow, I can actually sing. Or wow, my voice, I can actually use it. Oh no, I didn't know how to breathe. Now I can breathe. Maybe tell a personal story and connect to people. So, human skills. These are human skills, and that's why we bring them in. Sorry, I can talk about this. So I want to be deep and brief. That's one of the skills we try to teach. So, but I'm not sure if it answers your question. It's just Mark found out that these are basic human skills. You look at kids, they use it all the time. Why not try it at workshops in corporate settings? And people get shocked. People feel very uncomfortable. When they do it, they realize, wow, they can do it. And it really impacts their whole presence, their energy, and their creativity, I think.
I think that totally makes sense. I could see how opening up and doing those activities like singing and dancing would kind of change people's perspectives and make them less stressed in the workplace, which I think is a great strategy. Um,
Huge,
so
huge.
my last, yeah, go
Can
for
I
it.
say one more thing on that one? We also work with some teachings from Benjamin Zander and Rosamund Zander, who are Benjamin Zander is a composer, he's a musician, and they both wrote a book called The Art of Possibility. And in that book, they talked about rule number 6. Rule number 6: don't take yourself too blank seriously. And I think that's what a lot of people, I used to be that person for sure, deal with, that we take ourselves too seriously. So when we go through these workshops and go into those human skills, yeah, people take themselves less seriously, stop worrying about what others are going to think about them. Oh my God, how am I dancing? Nobody cares. Nobody actually sees. Like in one of the workshops, I told people, I said, you're actually not that important. And as soon as I said, I'm like, I'm not sure if it was the right call, but one guy came to me after the workshop and he said, oh my God, thank you so much. I mean, yes, we are important, but it's not that important. You're not that important. You don't have to take yourself too seriously. So if we ask you to dance, go for it. If we ask you to do some voice work, try it, fail it, learn from it. So
I'm
just
gonna
wanted to
remember
add
that.
that part. Rule
Rule
number
number
6:
6.
don't take yourself too blank seriously.
I like it. So my last question for you on this subject is, how do you know that you would benefit from having an executive coach?
Oh, as an executive coach, the beauty of me working for Berkeley Executive Coaching Institute is over a 12-month period, I probably offer 5 or 6 coaching institute like certification programs, and ranges from 15 to 25 people in each cohort. And what we do is, you as a participant, you get assigned to a coach, and you also coach other coaches, like the faculty coaches. So in a year, I probably receive over 30 coaching sessions. And every single time I have things going on, I have things I want to work on. Just like Saturday, 3 days ago, I had a coaching session with one of our participants. I came up with 3 weeks ago, I was not in a good place, not like a lot of energy like this. I was stressed, I was burned out. And during the session with her, we talked about it, and I came up with, in the coaching world, we say baby steps. Baby steps meaning next steps, things that you're gonna working on. 2 baby steps I came up with. Simple. Put the phone away and get the hell out of the house. Get the hell out of the house, go for a run, go for a hike, feed the cats. Istanbul has a lot of stray cats, so go feed the cats, do something, but get out of the house and put the phone away. It's been amazing after that session that I started doing these 2 things. And now I want to add more things like writing in the morning or meditating, some workouts, or whatever it is. Every time, let me tell you another story. Sometimes people come to my sessions and say, I don't know what to talk about today. I don't have a topic. Like this happened to me with an HR executive. And I said, oh, you don't have a topic? Okay, let's turn the cameras off. I'm going to give you 7 minutes. And I'm going to come back in 7 minutes just to see if you have anything else. But just think about what's going on, what's been bothering you. 7 minutes later, I popped up on the camera. I said, do you have anything you would like to discuss with me? She said, I have 9 things. I said, which one is the most priority? Which one is the most important? Which one should we talk about today? So everybody has things going on. Nobody is perfect. We are all working on things, and coach will be there for you to guide you through where you want to go. So I think it's a beautiful thing.
That's amazing. I definitely think that everybody can benefit from it. And that's great that, you give people a little bit of time and they have all these things that they do want to talk about deep down.
And I just want to compliment you on your follow-up comments. You can just go to the next question, but just like hearing me and making comments just means you're also listening and paying attention. I really appreciate that. Just want to
Thank
mention
you.
that. Yeah.
I definitely think that the stuff is so important and that everybody can benefit from these tips that you're giving us. So thank you. We are done with the executive coaching segment. We'll be back with Mehmet Sevinc. And thank you so much for being on this segment.
No, my pleasure. Thank you.